Oh, it's magic when I'm with you. I'm magic. Oh, it's magic tonight. Oh, it's true. Gotta hold on you. Oh, twisted on the sideways down. I know you're getting twisted and you can't calm down. I see you under the midnight. Look what's in your eyes. How far can you take it? Do you realize there's magic in your eyes? I gotta hold on you, gotta hold on you, gotta hold on you tonight. I gotta hold on you, gotta hold on you, hold on you, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's magic. Oh, when I'm with you. Oh, it's magic, it's magic, it's magic. Oh, it's magic, a little bit of magic. Whole thing through. I gotta hold on you. rhymes ever made by man are going into this mic written by this hand are coming out of this mouth made by this tongue. I tell you now, my man, my name is Young. But so you think that this shit destiny to get the best of me, but I suggest to be quiet, but don't even try from the east and west of me. Taking it and never breaking it, so even shaking it, grooving it, and always moving it, cause I'm not faking it. Pulling out rhymes like books off the shelf. Falling in the maze of how let's talk to go for myself. This is stone cold rhyming, no frills, no fluffs, and it's no accident that these rhymes sound tough. I'm going off, baby, there's no turning back. I'm on the TV on the album cassette and they track. And when the show is finally finished, I'll be taking my bow. My name is Young and yo, I got no how. You know what I'm saying? I got no how. Party people, I got no how. I think it just like this. I got juice like a president. I'm making rappers hesitant. Invite me to your house and I'll be chilling like a resident. Yes, cause I'm that type of man. Cause I make myself at home no matter where I am. I got it rolling like thunder. Make me no wonder why I'm on top with all the other rappers under. I make no errors, mistakes or blunders. It's like a wedding. Then no man for the thunder. My name is Young and see I like to rock right well. Cause when I get up on the mic I just release my spell. It's no hocus pocus. I just get you with the focus and swarm over me just like a horde of rockets. Smooth operator, female persuader, spot a fly girl and in a week I'm on the data. I got the kind of style for the here and the now, and I can do it cause I got no how. You know what I'm saying? I got no how. I got no how. Bust it, bust it, bust it, bust it, bust it, bust it. Through the hard times, I have to celebrate. I have to praise you like on it, jump on it, jump on it. Coaster, jump on it, jump on it, jump on it. Oh, that's it, jump on it, jump on it. Unga, 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 unga. I'm Big Bang, I am the G. I got knocked out, but I'll be real. I never need a horse, I like the chick. So I drive up in my new Seville. My tribe went down in the Hall of Fame, cause I'm the one who shot Jesse James. Pound for pound, I will never break down. Big Bang, no sir, I don't mess around. Oh! What's up, Gallus? What's up? What's up, Gallus? What's up, Gallus? Jump on it, jump on it, jump on it. What's up, San Antonio? What's up? What's up, San Antonio? What's up, San Antonio? Jump on it, jump on it, jump on it. What's up, Austin? What's up? What's up, Austin? What's up, Austin? Jump on it, jump on it, jump on it. What's up, Houston? What's up? What's up, Houston? What's up, Houston? Jump on it, jump on it, jump on it. Welcome to the 214 Big D Texas. Let Mr. Sexist flex this Lexus, and this is where the Cowboys play. They battle with my team from the Bay. Fresco. Now I'm from the Northwest, but I like my soul food, so I'm calling up an old groove, and I'm a brother with a gut. So hello, Keenan. Can you take us out the Papados? And don't forget about San Antonio. The last time I went through, I took 3 broads home. And much love to the brothers in Austin. And if I wasn't too, I'm flossing and lost in a state that's as big as hell. And I spot 2 badass girls in a turf sale. They said, and I said, what's up? And I said, giddy up, you turn. What's up, Phoenix? What's up? What's up, Phoenix? What's up, Phoenix? Jump on it, jump on it, jump on it. What's up, Kelly? What's up? What's up, Kelly? What's up, California? Jump on it, jump on it, jump on it. What's up, California? Jump on it, jump on it, jump on it. What's up, Kelly? What's up? What's up, Kelly? What's up, California? Jump on it, jump on it, jump on it. What's up, Kelly? What's up? What's up, Kelly? What's up, California? Jump on it. Kelly, what's up? What's up, Kelly? 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 What's up?
Too long. All right. Market's getting murdered. Oh yeah. Well, let's see. Let's see if they figure out a way to blame that on Biden. Bet they will. Hello, LSL. What's going on? All right. Let's get into it. It was kind of a weird little. I don't really ever go into any of that with a plan. I kind of just go with start somewhere, usually try something out new, and then kind of just go with like wherever I'm thinking. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. There's stuff I know like in front of a live audience just kills. So, all right, take a look here. Not postcards, but these are patches. Got these from a friend of mine about over a year ago. Sold for $17.05. They're all fishing patches. All right, this I got out of the Land of Opportunity. It's a 1-ounce silver round. It was at the bottom of a box of old mail that somebody was just about to toss into the recycling, and I'm like, let me go through that. This was at the bottom. So I grabbed it, and it sold for $34.95 in about a week and a half. That is better than spot price, even after fees. So that is awesome. Palacio de Gobierno, Colima, Mexico, sold for $8.96. List them international cards. They do sell. Wagon Bridge over the Columbia River, Wenatchee, Washington. I think I took an offer for $11 on this. Swan Fountain in Swan Lake, Tulsa, Oklahoma, sold for $3.55. I am very surprised this took so long to sell. It finally sold for $15.25. I figured that the Venn overlap of postcard collectors and S&M enthusiasts would have been much bigger than it actually is. But to my surprise, this took like 3 years to sell. This Victorian woman with a cat of nine tails. Yeah, artist signed. No idea who. This person down here. I couldn't make it out. All right, there we go. Republican Bridge, Franklin, New Hampshire, sold for $3.55. We've got holly covered silver bell Christmas greetings, $5.36. Interesting. This one's got I thought it was a 1900 postmark. That's a fancy cancel too. I didn't even notice that. Turbo's Creek by painting by Lewis Norton, Kennebunkport, Maine. This sold for $17.95, I think. Yeah, $17.95. Not bad. Eichelberg High School, Hanover, Pennsylvania, 1909. Undivided back from the collection of Mr. Herbert Love. I sold for $14.36. I, for a long time, was like, I wonder if these would sell. And actually, after dealing with postcards for a while, I totally see the appeal. Like, there's so much more. This is so much more interesting than, say, Heaven's Peak Glacier National Park, Montana. There's so much more story, so much more history, so much more people have had their hands on this. I think it's just cooler. So yeah, I get it. Box of apples I promised you from Washington with a completely unnecessary zoom in. What does this accomplish? Doesn't accomplish anything. Fill up the screen, maybe. $3.55, free ship. And finally, boats on Lake Chelan at 25 Mile Creek, Washington State, $3.55 plus shipping. I don't know what's going on with this. That's kind of cool, though. What's that even say? I think this was just somebody's attempt to block out the personal information before they sold it. Wasn't me. All right, there we have it. All right, so there was a little bit of a job slowdown, which is, I can almost guarantee you all that it's going to rebound quite a bit by the end of the day. Dropped 900 points, but I bet you it recovers to at least down 300, or at worst down 300. It was definitely a better postcard sales day. Overall, it was definitely not a bad not a bad sales day. I can't complain. And it's going to be a pretty quick, easy, and inexpensive shipping day, which I like that too. Did have to call into eBay and deal with an issue this morning. It's kind of frustrating, but at the end of the day, it was fine. Basically, I had a order that went overseas, went to customs, cleared customs, but for the customer to receive the item, they had to show up to customs and provide additional documentation. Customer contacted me. I assume also customs contacted the customer and informed them of this information. So as soon as they open this, I double check the tracking, blah, 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 and figure out what's going on. I call eBay. I'm like, hey, customer opened the spot thing. This is in their hands. Like, this is as far as this can go without the customer taking action. Can you go ahead and close this case? And they're like, nope, we can't do anything until the 31st. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll call back on the 31st. Call back on the 31st. Oh, sorry, you're misinformed. We can't actually do anything on this case until the 1st. I'm like, okay. Call back again yesterday. They're like, well, we have to wait until after the 1st. I'm like, all right, here's my concern. This is the last day I had to have the case resolved by yesterday. Like, here's my concern. Is like, I know the case requires resolution by today, and there's nothing I can do to resolve it because obviously this is in the customer's hands. So my concern is that the customer is going to see that, attempt to take action, and then not only am I going to have to chase down you guys refunding me, but also the defect. They're like, oh no, that wouldn't happen. If they do that, this will definitely close in your favor. And I'm like, I don't believe you. I said, I do not believe you. This is not my first rodeo. I know better than to trust your systems and your processes. Can't we just get this resolved now? No, we have to wait till tomorrow. Fine, I'll call back tomorrow. What happens? Wake up this morning. Customer had contacted eBay. Case was closed in the customer's favor. I got a defect. Have to then call back into eBay, which I would have had to do anyways, but like now I have to like basically make sure that the refund goes through, and refund to me goes through, I should say, and the defect gets removed. Which defects, by the way, like a lot of the time they remove them, but they still show, and you are still affected by them. Stuff like that, like you clearly have systematic issues when something as like straightforward as that. And it really is straightforward. Rep should be able to take the call, look at the tracking, look at what's going on with customs, be like, yep, can't do anything, close the case. This case is erroneous. What's going on here? Okay. He's got it out of order somehow. Probably that. But if you have a system that prevents like the correct actions being taken the majority of the time, you have a broken system. Like, take for instance what happened with feedback earlier this year when they rolled out all these feedback changes, and there was humongous backlash because all of a sudden you have sellers getting negative feedback that they don't deserve. And because you've narrowed the field too much and made the processes impossible if it doesn't fall into these like very few pigeonholed scenarios, you basically have to roll it all the way back. eBay is really, really not good at that stuff. All right, let's get on with it. Like I said, it's not a terribly difficult shipping day, so. All right, we got a customer bought Ken Follett, World Without End on Blu-ray, and Ken Burns' The War CD soundtrack. These were both in Philobox. I am shocked that this was not worth more. Almost everything Ken Burns sells very, very well, but not in this case. This was only sold for $470, and that sold for $280. Yeah. shocked is a bit of hyperbole. Not shocked. I wasn't shocked. I was surprised. And even that is a little heavy-handed. I was slightly taken aback. Ever so slightly. It was more of like just a thing that makes me go, Yeah, I have an Anchor store, so I've got MSO support, Anchor store support, whatever you want to call it, enterprise support, concierge support. Doesn't mean I don't end up overseas with my calls from time to time, but like I don't actually mind having to deal with an overseas call center if they know what they're doing, which last year when they somehow managed to kick me off Anchor store support for several months and I couldn't get anyone to fix it, I definitely felt the pain of the average eBay user because holy crap. Like, actually getting to somebody who knows what they're doing, like every single time that I was like, I need to speak with the supervisor. This is not anything that you are doing wrong. I just know that you do not have the power to fix my problem. And never once, not one time out of maybe 20, was I promised a callback and actually got one. Basically, every single time that I knew I wanted to get to a supervisor, I would just be like, I will hold as long as I need to, but I am not waiting for a callback because you guys don't do that. I sold this. This has been in the store forever. Little Mount Rushmore ceramic ashtray. Sent out a 20% off offer on it. Sold for $10.76, which, if you ask me, is fan-fucking-tastic. I will take that any day. Oh, yeah. That is 100% true. And what's even more messed up is that they roll out changes that don't help anything. Like the thing last week where they rolled out like the changes to navigation to your active listings page that nobody asked for and was just made it more complicated completely unnecessarily. Like, what are you thinking, eBay? And it was literally only live for like 2 days, and then they rolled it all back because probably so many people complained about it because it was so dumb. All right, sold this New Testament for modern English for schools at Burke. This I listed yesterday, and it sold like instantly. I didn't underprice it. Sold for $20 plus shipping. I priced it at a price where maybe I could have gotten it a couple more bucks, but the sold history on it was right in that range. Plus, it had a big old inscription right on the inside cover page, so I couldn't really list it as like new or whatever. What do we do here? What are we doing? I overcut that. And they changed sold to orders. Who cares? Why? Somebody got paid to spend time changing sold to orders, and I still can't see all my listings on the app. 3 years. Haven't been able to look at my listings on the app. The fuck, eBay. The fuck. Honestly, they just make changes to make changes. I don't think there's any thought that goes into it that this is actually going to improve something. On what planet do you try to make your user interface more complicated than it is? It's you know what they need to do? We're not causing our sellers to click buttons enough. Let's we're not going to add more buttons, but we're just going to change the buttons so that they have to click more of them. Sold this Oxford Cyclopedia Concordance. Came from Big Box of Bibles, BBB, hashtag Big Box of Bibles. Sold for $11.95. Pretty quickly, too. From what is sold so far from the Bibles, I'm definitely in the black on those. I mean, just with what sold today is 60% of the way there. And then yeah. And then they can write some sort of glowing story about, look what we did for our customers. And in my experience working in corporate America, any change gets spun as a good one. Sold this Rubbermaid bathtub appliques. New old stock, definitely from the 60s, actually 70s. 1974 is the date on it. These sold for $15. True story, these are actually stuck to my bathtub in my basement, and they are so old they have hardened and are currently deteriorating. These are not hardened. Yeah, but hey, what do you know? I'm surprised they took so long to sell. They've actually got a really good sell. Did I say how much they sold for? They sold for $15. Sold this vintage soap. It is vintage Star Wars soap with Darth Vader on it. So black soap, just what every kid needs. This came out of the House of Horrors. Well, it was part of that buy. Sold for $14.36. There was a Yoda that sold over the holidays, and this that took like damn near 2 years to sell. I'm kind of surprised about it. We can turn that into a These make just fine mailers. Sold Jimmy Cliff, The Harder They Come, LP. First print, I believe. I don't believe this is a reissue. It sold for $15. And just like that, folks, we're done. Holy crap, it's Friday? All right, well, I'll be back Monday. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Hope sales are good. If you're sourcing, hope that's good. We will catch each and every one of you on the Flip Flop. Peace out. Bye.